This is our beloved Pixel 6a, the best phone under $300 that I think you could spend your money on, even now in 2023. I mean, it was announced right about a year ago. Like Google I/O, it happens like the first, second week of May. Happened this last year. It was announced. Pretty cool stuff. And a lot of people didn't like the initial pricing at $449, but I think we all knew that was short-lived because Google cannot keep their prices at the level they're at for very long. They always quickly drop them for a sale. So, taking a look at this phone, like almost a year later, well, it's a little bit further out because the announcement date was in May, but it didn't actually come out towards the end of July. So, this phone, about 9 months, it served people really well. I think it's a fantastic phone. You can get it for $299, brand new, lots of different places with no strings attached. And it's going to be good, like 3 years of operating system updates, 5 years of security patches. We're coming up on that first year, so that's going to set the clock back 1 year. 2 more years of operating system updates, 4 more years of security patches. It's a really good phone. There's not a whole lot at this price point. I just checked out a blue phone the other day, and it was retailing for $199 on sale for $150. And you can spend that if you want. Every time we go up like an extra $100 or so in the budget category, really there's like a level of magnitude higher of a lot of the quality that's in the phone. So $140 phone, yeah, you can get some decent stuff for that, but there are going to have compromises. It's not going to have an amazing camera. The battery life's probably not going to be great. It's not going to likely be a Snapdragon processor, etc., etc. Software support's another thing. There's not really anything I know of on the market that you can get for $249, $299 that's going to give you basically 4+ years of security, knowing that your phone's going to be relevantly secure, up to date, and taken care of. So 3 prongs here that make this a really interesting phone even still 9 months later. Price. It's like half of what it cost when it first came out, almost. I mean, if you go to Best Buy right now, you can get it for $299 brand new, $249 if you activate it on your carrier. That's an amazing deal. I mean, what else is even touching that price point, right? I mean, the iPhone SE 2022 is a $429 MSRP phone. And I think most people can probably look at this and go, better camera, bigger, better screen, better battery life, probably. I mean, there's just like a lot of things here. The Google Tensor chip. Now, I know that there were some concerns about the initial Google Tensor chip, but the thing is, it didn't really impact the Pixel 6a as quite the same as it did the Pixel 6, because that was mostly an Android 12 issue. So a lot of stuff that you look at from the failed launch with Android 12 and the Pixel 6 phone doesn't really carry to this one. Now, it does have the under-the-screen fingerprint sensor. It's gotten remarkably better. Like when it first came out, it wasn't the most amazing in the world, but it's gotten a lot better over time. And I actually, don't want to show you my pin. So it's gotten remarkably better over time. And it actually works quite well, even with the glass screen protector. Like, I don't really have any problems with mine. Not to try and slight anybody who is having issues, but of course, no facial recognition. But it has a lot of good things going for it. It's got over a 4,000 milliamp battery, 6 gigs of RAM, the Google Tensor chip. It has last generation's Pixel camera on the front and the back. But I mean, those were good. Even in like if you know who MKBHD is, and he does his annual camera stuff, for value and actual quality of image and stuff, the Pixel 6a was his choice, or one of them, number 1, number 2 choice. I can't remember. That says a lot about this phone because the sensor's like 4 or 5 years old. Google's been using the same camera in its older phones, already like Pixel 4, Pixel 5, even the Pixel 3. It's been basically the same camera, but they find ways to make it better and better each year with, of course, the machine learning, the AI and stuff, which is the bread and butter of the Pixel phones, which is what's the great part about the Google Tensor chip. It does all that stuff. A lot of people are like, it's a terrible chip. It's actually quite a good chip. The only issues that it really has is, well, one, Google did not have as much optimization and efficiency for it. It takes time, and the architecture is different. Like when you look at a Snapdragon processor, almost all the ones I've seen, outside of one from a long time ago, it has one prime core, one main hard like horsepower core, and that's the top of the speed one. Like if you look at the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2 in the Samsung phones, it's clocked at 3.36 gigahertz. That's a lot. Whereas you have the Google Tensor chip that's clocked about 2.7, 2.8 gigahertz, but it has 2 primary cores. So that's why when it gets under load, it starts doing a lot of things, especially like GPS that are very, very intensive on the antenna as well. It really starts to get warm in some instances. So a lot of people are like, oh, my phone's overheating. I'm like, well, your phone's not overheating. It overheats if you're using it and then it like stops doing what it's doing. It crashes or gives you a warning alert, things like that. That's overheating. If it gets warm, that just means it gets hot. Now, mostly it's not going to do that. I haven't really had issues with that. But again, if you go use GPS, but it does that for a lot of phones. So not trying to make excuses, just trying to play some context on here. Yeah, when you use GPS on your phone, especially for a while, phones can get warm because it uses a lot of power, a lot of signal, a lot of things going on. So, in a nutshell, when you look at value, when you look at long-term support, when you look at camera performance, when you look at like the sophistication of the hardware with the Google Tensor chip, there's a trifecta of different things going on here that give you really good experience at under $300. Like, what other phones in the US? This is not like you're in China. This is not in India. This is not in East Asia where you can get a Poco phone or a Redmi phone for like $150, $199. Those are better than what you can get for the prices over here. Like, I would pick up a Poco phone probably most instances before I would go buy like a cheap Motorola phone. But it's not a US-based phone. Likely not going to get the same 5G bands. Likely not going to have the same quality. Not going to have the same software support. All those different things. And that's what you get when you look at the budget sector with a flagship capable processor. This is the same processor that the flagship Pixel 6 had last year. The Google Tensor and the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro, it's in here. And what's going to be even more exciting is when we get the Google Tensor 2 and the Pixel 7, that's going to be a game changer. And I don't even know how that's going to disrupt the landscape, especially for the Google Pixel 7 lineup once we get around to this fall. But man, the 7 days is going to be something really special. But this guy right here, the A series has always done really remarkably well at pricing, at long-term support, high-quality camera, like nothing you can get at this price point, and a good experience. And I think if you look at those four things, this is it. This is it for a lot of folks. Because not everybody wants to go spend a ton of money on a phone. And you still get a really good experience. So, I'm going to wrap this one up. But the Pixel 6a, even like 9 months later, is still kicking it. And it's even a better value now than when it came out, because instead of paying $449 brand new, you can get it for $299 brand new, or even $249 with activation. That's not even including like, okay, you get one through a carrier, you trade something in, any incentive deals, stuff like that. So pretty remarkable that they've been able to do that with this price point with this phone. So that's all I got in this video. If you have any questions, you have any comments, and please go to the comment section. I'd love to talk about it, especially if you got one. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback after all this time that you've had it. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.